Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Cardinal Grzegorz Ryś has been appointed the new Archbishop of Krakow, succeeding Archbishop Marek Jędraszewski after his resignation was accepted by Pope Leo XIV. A Krakow native, a former auxiliary bishop of the city, and a cardinal since 2023, Ryś is known for his emphasis on dialogue and a more open pastoral style. His move from Łódź marks a significant moment for one of Poland's most symbolic archdioceses, once led by St. John Paul II. Joining us is Michał Kłosowski, Deputy Editor-in-Chief. Wszystko, co najważniejsze. Hello and welcome to TVP World. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and welcome from Istanbul.
Oh, well, I'm sure you have better weather than we do at the moment. The Pope's visiting, of course.
Well, it's raining, to be honest.
Oh, is it?
So it's not exactly better weather, but it's a little bit warmer than in Poland, I suppose.
Yes, I'm absolutely sure it is. So tell us, this new Archbishop of Krakow, what's going on here? Who is he? What are his values? And how did he come to be put in this position?
Well, first of all, I need to admire that Cardinal Grzegorz Ryś is one of the most recognizable people in Rome, one of the well-known Poles working in the Vatican. And I would say that this is one of the most important information we can give about him, because his appointment for the Krakow Archdiocese is not something which was unexpected, because many people were saying that, well, Cardinal Ryś is the perfect person, is the perfect candidate for the successor for this archdiocese. So basically, his appointment for this very important diocese in Poland is nothing new for many, but also a huge info for the others, mostly because he will be the successor of Archbishop Marek Jędraszewski, who just went retirement because he went to the age in which the bishops and archbishops are being retired. So basically, from one point of view, one hand, it's like a natural change, but from the other, Cardinal Ryś is a cardinal, finally next cardinal of Krakow, and he was serving as the leader of Łódź Archdiocese, which, as he said, Cardinal Ryś said, will be his archdiocese till the very, very end. But, popes sometimes do some other plans than bishops or even cardinals.
So what made Cardinal Ryś the perfect, you use that word, the perfect candidate? What was it about him that made him the perfect candidate?
My American colleagues back home, Rome, they're calling him John Paul III, because the way how he is leading the church, leading the church in Łódź, was very similar to the way how the Karol Wojtyła, St. John Paul II, was leading the Krakow church, local church, before he became the Pope. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Cardinal Ryś is a priest born in this diocese with a long history of serving for the Krakow local church. He was the leader of the seminary, the director of the seminary of Krakow. Many years spent with local church. He was involved also in many intellectual pastoral project back in Krakow. When he was sent by Pope Francis to Łódź, many were really crying, because for many people Cardinal Ryś was the perfect candidate for the Archbishop of Krakow for the very beginning. But this time he spent in Łódź seems to be also very important for him, because first of all, he had an ability, possibility to lead the local church different than Krakow Archdiocese, which is very different than all the other churches, local churches in Poland. And he had some time to work with the Vatican. In the Vatican, where he met also Cardinal Robert Prevost, so the Pope Leo XIV, because Cardinal Ryś is one of the most important leaders of the dicastery for the Catholic hierarchy, for the cultural bishops. So taking all of this into consideration, the way how he managed the local church, his way of pastoral vocation, and the way how he is able to combine local church with the Roman perspective, all of that, in my personal opinion, makes him a perfect candidate for the Krakow Archdiocese.
Understood. Now, you also mentioned that he had quite some influence at the Vatican. Tell us more about that.
Well, as a Vaticanist living in Rome, even if now I'm in Istanbul covering the papal trip to Turkey and Lebanon, I've heard a lot about Cardinal Ryś from my American colleagues, also Italian colleagues, but one of the most important part of all the story is that the Cardinal Ryś can speak perfectly well English, which is not so common among the church in Poland. Also, he is well known in the Vatican because he's, this kind of the leader, church leader, the pastor, the bishop, which was made somehow by the way how Pope Francis was seeing the role of the bishops and the clergy in the modern Catholic Church. His synodal approach, very open for the laity, but also focus on the formation of the priests. All of that made him a very well-known person in the Vatican. Also, he was a very close person for the Pope Francis. And his spirituality, his vocation is very close to John Paul II vocation. And because of all that, he is just, a person of contact for many here in Rome who just want to know a little bit more about the Polish church, Polish Catholics, and the situation in the country. So basically, also, he was very active during the synod on synodality and synod of young people. I was even able to ask him some questions during this synod of young people back a few years ago, and he was very open to answer those questions. So all of that makes him a person well known not only in Poland but also abroad, in Rome especially, Rome, which is the heart of the Catholic Church. And I think that he could be one of just a few people in Poland who could have a personal phone number to Pope Francis.
Understood. Now, in terms of his values, because of course, with a change in this role, there will be a change in the emphasis that each holder brings to the job. What do you expect Cardinal Ryś to bring to his new job?
He's definitely, more open for the communication with laity, with the local church, also with journalists. He is a contributor to Tygodnik Powszechny, which is one of the most famous Catholic weeklies in Poland. And I would say that would be the most important change because he's more open for dialogue, not only with journalists, not only with laity, but also, for example, with Jewish community, which is very rich and has a rich history in Krakow. So I would say that that would be the biggest change he could make. Also, there will be kind of like a different pastoral approach. As I said, Cardinal Ryś is much more kind of like a synodal person. He likes the idea of synodality, so church being more open for the voices, not only from the clergy, but also from those who are not exactly in the church. I mean, not only priests, but also laity, also leaders of some communities, etc., etc. And definitely, he is a person who is not that much involved in culture wars. His voice is not so, loud from like supporting some ideas which are circulating in the public debate. He's a little bit more moderate person, but moderate and open for different voices.
Understood. How is he being received in Krakow in the new role? What can you tell us about the reaction to the appointment?
The reactions were different because there is a lot of people who are very afraid of a possible change which could happen in Krakow, because Archbishop Jędraszewski he showed his letter of resignation a year ago, because he went to this age when all the bishops are kind of obliged to show this kind of letter of resignation. So there are voices who are very afraid of this change, because no one knows who will be next leader of Krakow local church. But also after this announcement, which was given on the press conference in Krakow, press conference with the Archbishop Jędraszewski being there in the room, there is a lot of voices saying, yeah, that's gonna be another John Paul II. He will change everything, and everything will be fine again.
Right, well, that certainly sounds very positive, Mr. Kłosowski, and we wish him every success in the role. And thank you again for taking time out from covering the Pope's visit in Turkey. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now. And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, though. Lots more coming up. Goodbye for now.